Look at what we have here. We've got some sugar. We have this cylinder filled with water. How much water? It's 450 milliliters of water. And we have this beaker. Check this out. The beaker is bone dry. How about we do this? Let's take the water and put it into the beaker. The 450 milliliters of water. And I'm not going to spill a drop outside of that beaker. It's all collected in the beaker. How much volume of water do we have in here? 450.0 milliliters. Let's take the sugar and add it now to this tall cylinder. What would happen if I added the water back to the cylinder? Well, if this is sugar, the sugar is going to dissolve. I'm going to fill it up just a little way so I can pick it up and shake it to help it dissolve. Okay, let's add some more water. And if you look carefully, you can see how it is the sugar has dissolved in the water so that it's now transparent. I'm going to add the water back to the cylinder. And I'm going to add all the water back to the cylinder. And I got a question for you. After I add all this water back into the cylinder, will the water level stay below the original level? Will it come back up to the original level? Or will the water rise above the original level of 450 milliliters? Why? The volume is now greater than 450 milliliters. Why? You're not confusing this with an earlier demo that you saw, are you? You know, where we took 50 milliliters of water and 50 milliliters of ethanol, we combined them together and came up with 98 milliliters of mixture? There we saw that the volumes weren't quite additive. They didn't add up all the way to 100 milliliters. But they did add up to some value, 98, which is greater than 50 and greater than 50. Here we had 450 milliliters of water. And we also had sugar. Does sugar occupy volume? You bet. The sugar occupies volume, whether it's in the water or out of the water. So as we added the sugar to the flask, and then we added the water, and we stirred it up, what happened to the sugar? The sugar lost its crystalline structure. In the crystalline form, you have sugar molecules packed together neatly like this. And then, when the sugar dissolves in the water, you lose that structure. The sugar molecules become dissolved in the water. But they're still there in the water. If I were to taste this water, it would be a little bit sweet. Why? Because of the sugar that's in there. The sugar continues to occupy volume, whether it's in the water or out of the water. And we can see that it occupies that volume. When you have the water and the sugar combined, the volume is greater. Make sense? You bet. We're seeing a material dissolve in another material. And the two materials continue to exist. They exist in a state where they are blended together. And don't forget that when a solute dissolves in a solvent, the solute still continues to occupy space.